Hello and welcome to the Brother Slim. This is Cam with a new little update reading video series. I backed Lands of Evershade, mostly to just the standee version to play through with my wife. I think it'd be a really good time. And the updates are pretty sweet, and so I figured I'm enjoying doing these little update videos for Into the Unknown. And what about another Polish company? I have zero time to really work on my little teeny tiny YouTube channel, but I do also really want to cover some different, smaller, more indie crowdfunding campaigns that I stumble upon. And so I might try to work that in at some point. But for now, fun little update coverage videos for some really big successful companies. But yes, so we're starting the series at update number 26, which went live earlier today. Figured, again, speaking about time, not going to go back and read through them all, although it would be interesting. But starting from here on out, we shall do so. So, April update, playtests, pre-production, and plenty of new miniatures. And this is also assuming that if you're here watching / listening to this, you have awareness of what Lands of Evershade is. On the very slim chance that you don't, it's essentially a D&D meets board game, choose your own adventure, play out some combat on a map kind of thing in its own interesting world. It's kind of Elden Ring-esque a little bit. Okay, in this slightly delayed update, we're diving into the latest round of playtests, pre-production news, and second wave of miniature renders, featuring new body types, companions, enemies, and more. Welcome, Heroes of Evershade. We're a few days into May already, and that means this April update is arriving a little later than we intended. Sorry about that. Hopefully, what we have to show you today will more than make up for that wait. Smiley face! And no worries, we'll be back again before the end of this month with the May update, so the number of updates will still be on track. Before we dive into the juicy stuff, a quick note on something many of you may have asked about, or many of you have asked about. When will the Pledge Manager close? The short answer is not yet. We haven't finalized the closing date, but when we do, you'll get at least 4 weeks' notice, so there will be plenty of time to finalize everything. Playtest news, Ashes of Heaven, and Journey into Whitewall 2.0. We've officially launched open testing for the second core box adventure, Ashes of Heaven, along with a brand new round of testing for Journey to Whitewall, this time with a full character creation system included. Very cool. If I remember correctly, Journey to Whitewall is the demo that was available during the crowdfunding campaign, and Ashes of Heaven is like an alternate adventure for the same stage that was unlocked during the crowdfunding campaign as a stretch goal, which I think is going to be an add-on after the game has made it to retail. This testing phase is critical not only for validating the contents of Ashes of Heaven, but also for seeing how well feedback from previous sessions has been implemented in Journey to Whitewall. We're especially focused on character progression, how your heroes evolve from a starting adventure to an advanced one. And so I think Journey to Whitewall, I can't remember if these were like a stage 1 or stage 2, but basically, so if you played the game once and you did Journey to Whitewall, on the second playthrough, you could instead do Ashes to Heaven is the gist. This progression and its balance are absolutely key both to gameplay satisfaction and immersion, which, as you know, is the heart of Lands of Evershade. The outcome of this phase will also help shape the development of our third core box adventure, Song of Luada, which will take place at the expert level. Once we gather and analyze enough feedback, we'll prepare a summary for you with some key insights from this round of playtesting. Cool. And so one of the reasons they're talking about playtesting is they actually basically made open playtesting to, I think, anyone that wanted to could apply, which is pretty cool. They've done this for the last couple of campaigns, and it's a cool thing, because back in the day, Awakened Realms was always really huge on, they still do it, but next level backer engagement, where it'd be like, hey, help us design and figure out classes, monster, how they look and everything. So it's cool that while I don't think their campaigns are quite as inclusive to the community and getting them to do things, how they're really inclusive of the community in other ways still. And that's not to say that they aren't inclusive in their campaigns. It is still a big draw of how they crowdfund. Okay. The pre-production front. Meanwhile, on the pre-production side, we're entering a new phase, defining the final shapes and sizes of the punch boards. This step is crucial as it will allow us to create the white samples, essentially test versions that will be sent to the factory to prepare the first pre-production components. We're also planning to ship a large batch of 3D model files to the factory in May. This will mark the beginning of the detailed, sometimes lengthy process of refining and adjusting the miniatures for mass production. New miniature renders. That brings us to one of the most exciting parts of today's update, more miniatures. I've followed crowdfunding campaigns for years and totally agree. It's tough not to get excited to see what the different miniatures are going to look like. We're thrilled to show you the second batch of character, companion, follower, and enemy renders. And yes, you guessed it, there's even more coming in the next update. So, get ready to meet a fresh wave of designs that will soon bring the world of Evershade to life on your table. Please note, these are still work-in-progress renders, and some details may change before final production. Check them out below. So we have a rogue-looking fellow, probably a thief, or there was also an assassin class that was unlocked. I can't remember the name of it, though. Could be either or. Looks like a human. And I can't remember the name of this. It's either like Unknown or Fade or Lost or something like that. Blank. I think their name is literally Blank, and they have no facial features except for a mouth. I like the little octopus tentacle coming out there. Pretty cool. I think this thing was called a gastropod, if I remember. And it's like a spore snail, which is like a mushroom spore kind of snail. And it is so cute in a gribbly kind of way. Don't know the name of this fellow. Yeah, it doesn't have a name. But I think moths are fine. They're cool. My wife cannot stand moths. And I gotta say, this moth is something out of a nightmare. It's gross tentacle things and its spiky furry wings. Nasty. I'm curious how big this is too, like if it's a boss or if it's just like a minion. A bunch of different angles of that fellow. And then we have this little dodecahedron kind of crab bot, which is awesome. Generally, like golem looking things aren't really my cup of tea. Like whatever, they're fine, they're cool. But the fact that it's like a crab, I am here for it. I freaking love crustaceans. Yeah, you can see his little face and his little tiny claws holding up a bowl. Very cool. And they're angled there. This little thing's kind of interesting too, because it looks very ghoul-like. And then I don't know if this is a bag or camouflage that it's sitting under. I think camouflage, because a part of the world lore is everything's kind of dark and dank, and there's like a lot of fungal growths and stuff in different areas. And this is either to do with that or out in the desert where the sun that will disappear you exists. And so I kind of feel like it's almost like a trapdoor spider where it lies in wait in ambush under its camouflaged gloopy cloak thing, either from the sunlight or it's a mushroom, one of the two. Another angle there. Do we get an angle from the back? Kind of, not really. Yeah, it's interesting. Hard to say. Yeah, it could be desert camouflage, could be mushroomy though too. Might look a little bit more mushroomy. Okay, if I remember correctly, kind of reminds me of Brandon Sanderson Shardplate, or might be inspired or just kind of similar idea. But there's Brill battlesuits, which are super omega magical armor, basically. And I feel like this has to be that. It does look pretty sweet. Cool looking shields too. And then we have another little kind of crab dodecabots. Very cool. This one's a little bit more insectoid. Insectoid, that's it. So I don't know if this is related to the blanks, but it does have a similar expressionless face with the tattoos and the long arms. This one just has a really big mouth. So I'm guessing that this is an enemy rather than a player character and might be either a boss or, again, minion. It doesn't specifically say, but pretty cool design. Cool, and that is that. And as mentioned before, our talented 3D artists are still working on many more miniatures as we speak, so you can definitely expect another wave of renders in the May update. We hope you enjoyed this peek into both gameplay development and pre-production progress for Lands of Evershade. It's a huge world, and we're carefully shaping every part of it to deliver something truly immersive and memorable. Yeah, I feel like it was and is one of their biggest campaigns in the last couple of years. But like obviously Nemesis was recent too, and that one was financially the biggest. But I feel like the scope of this and it being like a new IP is quite sizable. So I'm really excited to follow along and actually kind of share following along rather than just reading it on my own. And yeah, let me know what people think. I'd say me personally, I think the sculpts do look really good. I'll be really curious to see how they look actually in physical print and like what changes between now and then. But the sculpts do look really pretty, so we shall see. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Bye!